Hello! It has been some time. And, I don't know how to put this, but, I don't want to get back to the things that are actually on the to-read list, so we're gonna look at some Chapter 1s for some unfinished things that happen to show up as recently updated. 3 of them deleted themselves, including one where I think Anon was a mythos creature, and I'm like, that was one of my ideas. Why did this go away? Oh, come on, man. Actually, hold on, let me check in. Actually, looking it up, I think the guy who made them just switched titles. I guess they wanted the free start. We'll take a look at those a little later then. But for now, we're going to start with Receiver K, a familiar of ours. We have seen this man before, and we probably see him in the future. And we know it's Receiver K because Receiver K is one of those fucked up weirdos that writes 10,000 word chapters. Now, you might remember him, of course, from Tory Game. Also, I want to kiss that Snoot. I thought he did one of those as like a collaboration, right? Yeah, I did with Arlock. But to put it bluntly, he's not an unfamiliar face around here. I'm not a big fan of Receiver K stuff. Although, if I recall correctly, I want to kiss that Snoot was like the better of the two. Because it at least had like the anime prom night thing. So I think Receiver K at the bare minimum might be able to pull something through here. I'm not optimistic because the starting line is everything I read and then I was like, yeah. We're going there, are we? Alright, here we go. We got Sam E. Day, same day, arrives as the second human student of the 2020 graduating class of Volcano High. Here we go. Chapter 1, First Impressions. I mean, listen, buddy, I'm all for it, but that is literally what your first chapter is. Can you not name it after what we, the readers, are up to? That's just cheeky. That's just being cheeky. The first thing I feel is cold. It's such a bad opening line. You want to know what a good opening line might be like? Just have him describe the cold. Like, get rid of this. This is so much better. The icy caress that wraps around my limbs, blistering into goosebumps from the shock. I get rid of into, just go blistering goosebumps, because it's slight pacing issues. You're adding words that you don't really need to communicate the idea. It's nothing so abrasive as piercing. Ugh, piercing cold, get it hard so long. It's much more like a numbing swaddle that ghosts my flesh. What the fuck does it mean to ghost your flesh and couldn't be dispelled if I tried? I still feel like this fucking opening line is so bad. It's like, your opening line's got to be punchy, man. Start with the good stuff. Don't start with something as lame as, man, you know what I feel like? Start off with a situation, a scenario, a character trait, something exciting. Start off with a blind character tripping over something. Start off with someone with family problems. Commenting on the boxes of things they're throwing out, you know. Start off with a hook. Don't start off with characters giving off the impression this guy's got to buy a jacket. In spite of the very clear sensations, I feel bodiless. This, again, fucking contractions, contradictions is the word you're looking for, Safi. I feel bodiless. If I focus hard enough, I can see the vaguest implications of a hand flexing before me. But it's a trick of the mind, Sijian Dark Clouds. So you're having out a are you haunted by sleep paralysis demons? You got to give those guys $5, they'll leave. Whatever, it's a slow adjustment to the low-light conditions. Just low-light conditions. What are we playing D&D? The outline of objects became the form of the darkness. Finally, or maybe we're dealing with like someone like May, where it's like everything is shapes now. After an noble passage of time, how old are you? You're going to high school, buddy. What's this fucking passage? This is written like someone who's gone to the mythos brink and tore himself back, and he's like, oh, life's so complicated. I'm like, if you don't show up and you don't have like deep black ripped jeans and like a My Chemical Romance shirt, get out of here, buddy. You talk like someone like that. It's my childhood home. You're in high school. I remember at the ripe old age of 12, I came back to my childhood home. And the answer is, because you live there! The dark wood walls that threaten to consume what's left of the light in the room so I can make my way to a window. Jesus fucking Christ, he lives in a fucking mansion? Dark wood implies you live in a Victorian mansion. God! This guy is so fucking pretentious already. I find nothing, just an ever-expanding void of twilight. Oh no, he's in a dream. Ugh. You know, a great way to start off any fucking book is with a dream. We don't know anyone. We don't care about anything. Just start us off with a dream. It's only now that I pay attention to my ears. This is maddening of an AC unit throughout. Unless he is actually suffering from, like, aphasia and nothing is making sense right now. Perforated by the clock ticking somewhere nearby. There's nothing here. Buddy, that's because you refuse to decorate your room and I'm so emo, I'm gonna paint my walls black and there's nothing in my room because it's empty like my soul. Your mom keeps wanting to buy you a closet, but you're like, my clothes belong in a corner of the room. Deep within my soul! It's clear anything else around me. Then pierces the din. Faucet from the other room, water running over, swallow dryly. Dude, you are not in an apartment complex. What fucking American apartment complex has dark wooden walls? If you grew up in a place with walls like that, I just want to point this out. I've been in a lot of houses, right? And dark wooden walls are not like anything you'll find in a cheap-ass house. And like, I liked D from Punch Drunk Gator a lot because his particular position and reputation felt like interesting and exciting because he's a rich kid, but he's the troublemaker. You know, he's a fighting kind because he needs the adrenaline rush, because to him nothing matters, because he's wealthy. So it's like, well, when my dad dies, I'll already get everything I want. So there's a lot there. Completely absent here. This is why you start off with like a hook, and you start off with some establishment, and you just go from there, because I don't know anything, right? It's just vagary. Like, if you didn't lose me in the first line, it's by now, because I'm not like, how much should I pay attention, right? How much attention should I pay to your writing if all you're doing is describing hypotheticals, non-truths, and illusions? Like, when do I start paying attention? I understand if you want to give the same sense of confusion that your character does, but that's the kind of stuff you do when you've already written like 15 books and you're the coolest guy at the block, and everyone's like, you know, you can't argue with that. You've mastered the craft. Anyway, he's basically having a lot of problems, and this guy's pulling out the thesaurus for ghostly things. I seriously feel like you would have been better off if you just got rid of this and you just start off with a character gasping awake. Because having someone start off on a mysterious dream and then showing us that dream later is so much more interesting than starting with the mysterious dream. Because one is like, we want to know what it is, and the other is we know what it is, and we're very confused why it is. You know, there are orders and operations to things. I felt a spat... Jesus fucking Christ, man, get this thesaurus out of your butt. Unless you're going with this as a character trait, which I'm not interested in. Ugh, also, you're starting all your paragraphs with I. Come on, man! At least you're using figures interludes, one-verb interludes. At least you're bothering to splice it up a little bit. God dang. The force breathes is shallow. Bring your hand up to my face. Wick away the tears. Wick away the... Wick? We're fucking verbalizing wick? Buddy, fucking hell, man. Hold up, I'm pulling up dictionary. Is that even a verb? I know it's a noun. Of material to draw off by capillary action. Of material to draw off by capillary action to follow to move. Okay, that's probably not it. It's probably the other... Okay, that's only a noun. A wick. May also be a hamlet or village. Oh, that's where South Wickenow gets their name from. Neat. A maggot. Could also be a maggot. Jesus fucking Christ. Which one of these is like... To strike with one's bow or stone hard enough to... What the fuck? A cannon? Come on, there's gotta be one that's just like, you know, to plink something out of the corner of your eye. Okay, no. This guy's just making up verbs now. Damn. Okay, so I'm just gonna be polite and assume that it's the character that's supposed to be a pedantic asshole, but I feel like you gotta be careful with that stuff. Because again, if I don't want to read this motherfucker's words, why would I stick around? Like, the character might be interesting, the setting might be interesting, but if I don't like how they're talking, right... It might be a fun touring ride, but if the bus stinks, I'm not getting on. First, my everything is hello itself. This is also why I'm also a bit more pensive about, like, POV characters as, like, the sole lens of writing. Because at that point, you better have a good POV or that character is just going to sour everything. It's like the one thing Anon did is that he occasionally reminded us that he's a fucking loser and an idiot, and it's fine. Also, I feel like Anon's inner world is kind of important to the story, because fundamentally speaking, he doesn't say shit, and as a narrator, having to constantly explain that actually a lot's going on would get tiring very fast. I see an inkling! It's but an inkling behind the blackout curtains! Do you get it? It's ink and black! Painful knife to my brainstem. Oh my god, he is a fucking emo. I half roll, half flip myself out of bed. Why does everyone do this, right? Why do so many people, like, take little things Anon does and, like, everyone does this? It's like, no, the point is that Anon's weird. Get dressed, piss, and wash my face. Dude, take a shit while you're at it. I catch herself with the mirror, thin face hair, peach fuzz, patchy grease, looking kind of makes me look like a broke-ass, skinny still. I don't think this guy deserves Anon's skin row. I think he deserves, like, a very grungy, constant guitar drone. He stuffs his pockets with the essentials. I hope one of them is a fat hot dog. You know, just a little snack for the road. Locked there behind my head that says blah blah. Back in Dinofornia. Hear low voices laden with concern in the kitchen, and I grimace. Sammy had just sleep. Oh, he's with his mom. I thought he was in an apartment building for a minute because I'm like, dude, you don't. There are no dark wood houses in Dinofornia, buddy. And the primary reason I say that is that I think that Volcaldera is the kind of Silicon Valley-esque town where everything is modern and slick. And anyone who's got money is tearing down those old Victorian mansions and replacing them with weird smart homes. The Aqualops woman. Oh, he's a fucking... Oh, no! He's a half-breed! Get him! Or Moth... Taupe... I'm not familiar with this term. I want to say toupee, but that's not the proper term. Wiktionary, please, bail me out. I need to bail me out of a bind. I'm not criticizing the word choice, because I've seen taupe being used before, but...
Taupe.
Oh, it is just taupe. Ha! Mm. Sammy, how'd you sleep? I guess at this point it'd be belabored to ask her not to call me that. I could live with it. Oh my god, man. Unless you're going to tell us that your name is Ebony Ravenwood Dark Edge, I don't think you're going to escape Sam. Sam, I am. Okay, and you sick, kiddo? No, I'm fine. Oh my god, he's a pretentious emo kid and his parents are fine. I can't believe I'm a half-breed. Sammy, you're literally the only person who makes a big deal out of it. I can't believe I'm stuck between two worlds, light and dark! And then mom is like, which one's the dark parent? We can call it the... Oh my god, they're such nice parents. They're like, oh no. Oh my god, he calls his dad Henry. Jesus fucking Christ, man. How far did you vanish up your asshole? Who lubricated you to get up that far? This is going down the wrong pipe. I feel like wrong hole makes more sense, but... Mom places the dishes eggs onto the counter, heavily sniffing in my direction. Glenda. Why are you emphasizing her name? You're gonna get divorced? This is such a clumsy way to introduce names. I feel like if you're gonna do the character POV and they're being expository about their life, you can't just have the character tell us the names directly. If anything, there's a big benefit of POVs. They can explicitly state stuff because it is their thoughts. I'm heading out. Seeing you two later. He's also... At least eat an egg. And then he stands there like that guy from Resident Evil. He's like, you will give me an egg. He just takes it. Snack a Snoot tart. Why would you grugify that? Like Snoot book and everything, and like you Snoot, those work. But Snoot tart doesn't work. Why not call it a pop Snoot? Because at some point it doesn't really work. I feel like it's just too simple words. It's too simple and too low syllable for it to work. Also, Pop-Tart is very poppy and snappy, so you need like a very specific word to replace either of those. Catch myself an early voice slamming the door behind. Jesus, fuck it, lock it. God, he's so up his own ass. How are you graduating this year, buddy? How are you 18 years old and you're still this far in your little emo cave? Oh, man, buddy. Make my way to the bus stop. Much more to have like for which I'm My parents want to drive me to school. I'm so edgy, buddy. Why aren't we doing this in like junior year? Jesus. Walks up and shake the nightmare haze off. Dude, you gotta tell him if you have night terrors. Cold, misty morning isn't helping my mood. It's fucking Volcaldera, buddy. And it's summer. It's going to be 20 Celsius. It's gotta be like a pleasant 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It's gotta be fine. Drawing the short straw on that. I take a beat. Oh, he's also bald, because every fucking human is bald. I love how he hides the beanie. Why didn't you put this on before you leave the house? Why do you have to smuggle this with you? Come on, buddy. Check the weather. Ugh, I imagine that a cold scalp would be hell of a deal, even in warm weather. Especially if you're in the shadows. Pop in some earbuds, snootify. At this point, it gets weird, right? Like, at some point, calling everything snoot is just like... It's not even that big of a term in the games, right? Like, it's the name of the game, but it stops there. The first song starts with an ominous strumming. Are you sure you don't get nightmares because you just listen to really bad music? I just feel... Maybe the cause of your nightmares is listening to My Chemical Romance on repeat. It's moderately full, but I choose to stay anyway. Because I'm so edgy! Motherfucker. You know, I'm kind of turning around. He really is just hamming it up. Man, there's a whole dead pig in the corner, and that's less ham than this. Mostly honest characters. I like how he calls them... First, he's drawing attention to their honesty. Second, he's calling them characters. Oh, hey, look, it's that lady from the Volcaldera Nights. Dino guide in ill-fitting suits, a handful of mundane passengers. I like how the dinos are not mundane, but the blob is. I'm actually surprised. Base case, base heads, and other speaking less assholes. Listen, buddy, just because you've done that like 5 times on different buses and got him banned from an entire service doesn't mean that's what everyone does. Anyway, since this guy is clearly just pretending, we get to turn on teenage traffic. Like, he doesn't deserve actual sad music. This guy's not Anon. Like, he wishes he was that cool. Eventually, the bus reaches a stop, screeching halt doors, half open. Give it half-hearted ways. What? I'm an edgelord, but I'm still going to wave at my bus driver! Oh, dear God. It takes a second to recall the destination is Misty Vale. Oh, that's right. Still recall the nightmare with perfect clarity. Again, if you're gonna just start off with the waking up, and then his family is, like, fine, and then you do this, and it's like, oh, then at the very least he doesn't feel as pretentious, he feels like a guy with problems. Because now he's just like, come on, buddy. Stop with the solipsisms. The school looms into view, and the goosebumps line my arm for some reason. That's because you have psychic powers. Guess I have a first stage jitters after all. I thought I was cool enough! Small smile flashed on my face for a moment, though. Jesus Christ. This motherfucker is fighting his own body to be emo. God. You're so pathetic. It's so... Never seen a character quite this desperate to, like, not be who he is. Man's gonna turn out to be a fucking trans woman. I bet you the money. I've seen enough! I know how this works! I like how you feel the need to ask that, because if I recall correctly, in the game, the art is, like, super explicit, that it is just a fucking chunk of a building, right? Hold on, let me pull up the Overmeal games. Not script. I want to look for backgrounds. Oh, no, it's not back on the wall. Oh, no, it is. There is just text on the front of the building. Like, buddy, I mean, I guess if you come from a certain angle, then yes, you wouldn't see it. This, by the way, implies that our character is observant. Like, I know that having a character be observant can be a bit tricky if you're writing it from an first-person perspective, but you can have them do that by, like, pointing out small details as means of clues instead of broad strokes like the sign on the building. Although I've been told that apparently reading signs is a skill that you have to learn. Begin my journey up the stone steps, observing the rainbow students, because every fucking single character has to point out that they're all weirdly colored. No humans as far as the eye can see. It's the blob of colors. Man, I'm so aphasia. I honestly, if this person is, if Receiver K is trying to write like May from Night in the Woods, like desperately trying to copy that energy, and it's just dropping the ball, that would be equally funny as this is actually sincere, and he is just writing a fucking pretentious asshole. Which, admittedly, I guess Dorian kind of was too, right? Like, for all it was worth, Dorian is, like, trying to escape himself, but I feel like Dorian still delivered on the premise somewhat. Whereas this guy is just like, he really doesn't like what he is. He's like, man, I wish I was cool, and no one thinks he's cool. Does he appreciate it? Is some half-pint yell, what's your deal? Buddy, you just knocked over my baby! Oh man, Cookie Mama ain't gonna shut up about me shaking the baby. Man, the home ed teacher would totally be fucking Cookie Mama in this setting, wouldn't it? The halls are still dead at this hour. Anyone first period was in class. Jesus. Wait, you're here at second period? Man, that's weird on a Monday. Oh my goodness. I don't know what this means, but I'm gonna write that off to social, to, not knowing how American summer schools work. I guess if you flunk around enough, you're required to attend extra classes, is how I take it. Took my time strolling the halls. Only partially cataloging class numbers, directions, and anything of these. Man, I have all this time, but I'm just gonna mope. I'm so cool! I'm moping! I'm gonna kick a can! Take that can! Oh my goodness, he did. My parents probably dead, but my parents are dead! One, like, stops at that. See you later, honey! They're so dead to me! My mind wanders into with me. Fucking Dino 40. Fuck Dino High. Come on! Can we please establish if you're like, man, I hate this liberal state, or if you're like, man, I hate these fucking losers? I need to know if this is going to be relevant, Sammy. I want to know how big of a loser you are and in what directions. I need to know the shape of it. Hey, Sammy, you're a lovely boy. Would you like to move across Scott? Jesus fucking Christ, that's a little on the nose. I feel like you could just introduce this later down the line. Why do you feel the need to introduce this now? This isn't really, like, important information to know right now. This should come up later when Sammy has to explain himself to someone, instead of, like, pre-established information. Like, and now all we really need is the whole, like, you know... or at the very least, don't make it a quote. Have it be... although I guess he's trying to be snarky, and he's like a emo kid where, yeah, he totally would do that. Ugh. Was supposed to say, oh, you could do this to me, I hate you. You say that anyways! I couldn't care less. I know, Sammy. You take special apathy pills. They're just sugar pills, but he thinks they're so cool. I don't like this song has birds in it. It's really weird. I may have been the weird adopted kid, but wait a second. You're adopted? Hold up. I wasn't paying attention. I kind of figured your dad was the... Oh. Oh, you're... Oh! Oh my god, you're one of those fuckos. Oh! Dang, dude. So, it's even more reasons for you to have psychic powers, buddy. Kind of back to 0-0 now. Feels really weird that you're calling out your adoptedness. Like, I always got the impression... Like, it depends on when you're adopted, but I feel like if you're adopted early enough in life, that at some point it just doesn't really matter. I know that's something people can see and call out with ease, but come on, man. Like, as far as you, from, like, your memory should be concerned, they are just your mom and dad. Like, they didn't birth you, but they did everything else. And I feel like you're not enough of a right-wing fucko to be like, if they're not my blood parents, they're not my real parents. Because that's just weird. Kind of back to 0 now. That's a lateral move at best. I should just stop whining. Buddy! Buddy! The pot could not call the kettle any more black. I rattle my head like an 8-ball. Hoping for new fortune to materialize. Oh my god, he's so far up his own asshole. If anything, you're shaking all the shit loose. Anyway, it's, Mr. Universe with the rest of the multiverse for sustenance. Coming up here, but, okay, why would he ask this if he then tells him to take a seat? Oh my god, his name is Mr. Day. That's just so... That's so lame. Can you imagine having the last name Day? Hello there, Mr. Day. Hello there, Mrs. Day. Jesus, ugh. It's a good day today, right, Day? God damn, I die. I die instantly all the time. That's me, sir. I like how you feel the need to confirm this after he both took out your folder and your name. I feel like at that point he doesn't need it, buddy. It's a hefty file from where I'm sitting. Please don't actually make him a troubled child. I got the impression that Sam is just a big fucking loser, and if you're going to try and pull the Dorian, like, again, Dorian works because mechanically, right? The whole story is about a fucko who's, like, disconnected from his dad and is trying to escape inside of all this violence. Sam seems to have pretty decent parents, and him acting out feels a little on the nose. He feels like the kind of person who gets in his head and acts tough, but never does anything. So the pleasure. Well, you know, the 5 murder cases that are currently ongoing certainly don't help. Wasn't able to print out my schedule. Why did he take out your file? I got the impression that he wanted to talk to you, but you wanted to talk to him, and now he's like, you want to talk to me? Like, what order of operations are we following here? Curious. Mara Vista Drive. Yeah, Paris just forgot to give it to me. We sent it to your home address. Well, I ate it because I'm so edgy. Don't mind at all. He does mind. The printer is always a fucking pain. Nobody likes using the printer. That's the law. I'd like to speak with you for a bit. I feel like if this was relevant, you would have made this appointment instead of hoping for chance, Mr. Spears. I don't think Spears is the kind of person to be opportunistic like this. He just make the appointment and call it a day. If only so that Naomi leaves the room for 5 seconds. The clay-like seat. Ugh! All I can think about is all the leather getting sticky from your sweat and it sticks to you in the way. You've quite a record, Mr. Day. Real about telling me. Because not the most prestigious of schools, which is weird because there really does seem to be like a back and forth for whatever not Volcano High is a fancy school equivalent to like a private institution or not. It's really weird. Frankly, we'll zero tolerance on the turbo plant. any of the... Oh my god, he's a rapist? Really? We're going that far? Or violent, at least. What's your take on the record? Spears, that's a really weird question to ask. You're not Uncle Iroh. You're not that slick. I mean, sir. So we are just doing a Dorian. I mean, admittedly, considering the Punch Drunk Gator refuses to update, you might as well give it another go. Saying and meaning are two different things, Mr. Day. I feel like you're overselling him. Like, this worked really well because Anon's a bit of a jokey character. There's a current implication that you are a criminal, which is a whole different matter. Otherwise, which is a school deed associated with this district. Why would you keep saying that? We have a why don't you just start with the reputation in the first place? No one can imagine today. Man, that is... Go move to Silicon Valley, buddy. Poetic. I'm on one of my breath. That it is, Mr. Day. At the very least, we're not pretending with the mumbling. And it's an overt thing the character is doing instead of like... Because if I get one more non-Anon that mumbles... And I could be giving you an elevator pitch. I could give you an elevator pitch if you want to. Want to speak here sometime, make something clear first off. We expect the best from you. Please, please, actually get grades. Our funding will die. Mind toss, I got that little photo suggestion. Gonna really erase it from the record. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, the school probably has a copy. These days, everything is electronic. Also, nobody in the future is gonna give a shit, right? Like, as long as you're not, like, having a criminal record, your school record, no one cares. No one ever cares about that. It's criminal records that matter. What exactly does that little file cover? What a weird thing to say. Couldn't we have introduced this some different way that doesn't feel like we're just explaining the stakes of the story? Like, at this point, you're just establishing a tournament arc. Also, just fucking tell us what's going... He does have juvenile records. So he is an actual criminal. I don't feel like Spears can help you with the criminal aspect of things, buddy. Also, why are your parents not, like... Are they just responding to the fact that you were actually, like, doing shit? There's a lot going on here. What the fuck does that even mean? That's a really weird thing to say, but it makes sense for a pretentious guy who's vanished up his own asshole. Oh, man. I have to say, Sam, I'm not really sold on your story. You kind of come across as, like, a miserable character to be near. And you're also not really telling us anything that matters. Like, you're allowed to just tell us what's going on, right? You don't have to be weird and mysterious about things. Like, Anon wasn't weird and mysterious about things. All things considered. Like, we already kind of could guess what's going on. With you, you start off like this kind of emo kid that's just kind of acting out against his parents, that feels wronged in the world. And then it's like, oh no, he actually has a criminal record. I'm like, what? Okay. Why are we doing both? Man, you could have found out about the drug charges. Listen, it's fine if you commit a murder, but you touch a marijuana cigarette, you're out of here. I don't like this at all. I just feel like having Principal Spears do this talk doesn't work. I feel like you could do this way better with the parents to establish like an emotional core. Because again, his parents are around and they should care and they should know. They would logically be like, please try. Like we establish some emotional resonance. Then our character can tell us like how did they feel about their parents? Do they care about their opinion? But instead we're doing like a tertiary character in his life, which is really weird. Someone he just met. Ugh. Nah, as I said, I had to talk to you, so here I am. Ugh. Thank goodness. I'm so glad. Oh. Oh, it's Fang. Oh, gotcha. For a moment I was confused. I was like, what? Mr. Spiegel! Dang. Or should I say hot dog? They actually mark absences today. It's the first day. Man, you know, I just talked to a guy about my criminal records. I'm gonna start some fresh one. God damn, dude. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad I found you. You're Sam Dell. May I call you Samuel? No, it's Sam. It's just Sam. It's not even short for Samuel. Like my birth certificate says Sam. Why are you like this? Do you think that Rat is short for Ratthew? That's not how this works, Naomi. Naomi Chun. I get that her parents would give her like a white-sounding first name, but fuck. Could you at least go with something like Chong? I don't know, man. Listen, I don't know. But could you like go to fantasy name generators and like get hold on, what can we get from fantasy name generators that at least has more phonetic, like their parents actually bother? Because if you're picking like a white name for your kid, I feel like you'd go through the extra fucking trouble to like pick something that works. Actually, I mean, I guess like transliterated would be. Ugh. I mean, it really depends on like what kind of person you're dealing with in terms of names. Whew. My problem is like Naomi is Naomi, right? Naomi. It's a lot of vowels. It's N and M are fairly soft consonants, and then you've got fucking chun going on. Like at least go with something like Lee. You can go with Shu. Shu is nice and soft on the tongue. Naomi Shu. You can go with something that's got a pop, but not the ch. More like a die. You know, a D and an M and an N are fairly close. Hell, you can go with Lingxing. That's a nice one. I'm just saying. Chun feels a bit harsh on the tongue with the rest of the name. I feel like at that point you should call her Catherine. Like Catherine Chung. That's way better. And it's an alliteration. If you want to, you can also make it Catherine with a K. Then it could be like, it's not an alliteration. You can punch someone in the soldier. Anyway, she's a peach-colored whatever the fuck she is. I don't know. She looks weird. She makes my eyes bleed. I'm just looking for my homeroom. I just want to soak. I don't mind at all. So I know about working the prop this morning. Busy, busy, busy. Why do you pretend? Like with Anon, it more felt like an accident that you met. Or that Naomi had plans. I don't know what Sam's point is. What is the pairing intended to be? Is there a pairing intended to be there? You'd love me, such a sweetheart. Give him a kiss. Be gay. After all these golden eyes, it's finally time for NASA to make out. It's captain of the varsity track. Varsity track? Listen, I don't know what the word varsity even means. So let's look it up. Let's check it out. What is a varsity? University. What? Or a sports team representing an institution. Oh! Well, fair enough. So it should be versity, but because of weird history stuff. Man, I don't like Sam. And I don't mean that I think he's an interesting character like someone like Dorian might be. Or, you know, counter culture, or have some friction like Anon, or be a bit goofy like Inko. It's just, I don't like him. He doesn't do anything. Like, have the main character fucking do something already. Like, say what you want, but Anon at least took the action to, like, avoid the crowd and try to find a peaceful way through things, right? There was the sense that on some level, he was making decisions. He was an actor. He was a protagonist, a character. So far, Sam has mostly just been a prick and sulked. It's really kind of lame to have that be your principal character. Totally different breed. Eventually, your mindless babble must come to an end, and she looks at me inquisitively as I'm forced to tune it back in. Shove it in my pockets. My spaghetti! Although we are starting paragraphs with different things now, and we are doing some nice pacing stuff. You can tell what's bothering me about what I focus on, but that often means that other things are done well, right? Also, paragraph length's nice and varied. We got some nice chunky. We got some slick. We're alternating speakers properly. And look, it's nice and clear who's talking, even though, technically speaking, we haven't had any clarity on this. You want to know, join Nasser and I for lunch. It'll be fine. Also, the implication of everything we've seen so far, isn't Anon supposed to be somewhere? Because you said he's the second human. First day of the semester and going along famously. Dear Ratskis. Listen, this was fine for Anon. I feel like Sam... I feel like you could do something else with him, because he really does seem like the kind of person to flow a whole different direction. Like, if he does have a criminal record, I don't know. Feels like he would drift apart from that. Or at the very least, to make him different. I feel like there's a lot of little things, right? You want to avoid sounding like the principal character that you're technically copying. Whatever, Safi. Go sit in the corner. I just had to cut my losses. Go against the grade of the hallway. Time to swim upriver. Call me Salmon Sam. Or Salmon Sam. The L is silent. So your name is Selm? Crowd things out in the bell. Sighs, I make it to homeroom. Being the first ones there, I pick the seats. Straight in the middle. Amateurs. I wrote one of these myself. I can't judge you, man. I've written at least 2 different moments where characters discuss the proper sitting. See, the benefit of sitting up close is that they have to look down to see you. And have to look down more than otherwise. Far left, right by the window. Primo, daydreaming, real estate. I know, man, but I didn't sit there. I was just slept on my desk. Lean back and remove my beanie, wiping away the sweat of the morning trials. Doing the rest of the years a bog standard beige and boring. I mean, that's just you. Just please stop looking in the mirror. Oh. I feel like we're establishing the smooching time. I think we're gonna make a little cut here.